This was an incredibly brutal murder. We know people in the medical examiner's office who are traumatized just by the pictures. So, he is out of his head right now. And they changed his meds a month before the murders, and they changed it because he was complaining about weight gain, and it just messed him up. He is not competent to stand trial right now. He is almost childlike in jail, we're told. He can't process the consequences of what he's done. He knows what he did. He just can't understand why he's where he is right now. And I know that sounds crazy, but he is out of his head right now.
Right. I mean, you would have to be in order to kill your parents. Were they in separate rooms? Because people are wondering if it was the mom first, why wasn't he able to go in and stop him? Because he was a tall and bigger guy.
Look, we were told they were in separate rooms.
Behind the shock headlines and the unimaginable crime, there is a quieter, more unsettling question that refuses to go away. Were there signs long before anyone else saw them? As investigators piece together what happened inside the Reiner family home, an old voice has resurfaced, a former teenage roommate from a luxury rehabilitation facility, claiming he saw something deeply wrong years ago. What did he notice about Nick Reiner's behavior that others brushed aside? Why did ordinary conversations allegedly explode into sudden rage? And how did a troubled teenager in a $60,000 a month program become the center of a tragedy that no amount of money or fame could prevent? Long before the deaths of filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer Reiner shocked Hollywood, there were already quiet warning signs inside their family story, signs that only became visible to the public after everything fell apart. In the days following the couple's deaths in December 2025, as police confirmed that their son Nick Reiner had been arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, a flood of past stories, memories, and testimonies surfaced, painting a deeply troubling picture of a life shaped by addiction, mental illness, privilege, frustration, and repeated attempts at rescue that never fully worked. Among the most striking accounts came from a former teenage roommate who said he lived alongside Mick at a luxury rehabilitation facility in California when they were both just 15 years old. The facility, according to multiple reports, charged as much as $60,000 a month, a symbol of the extraordinary lengths Rob and Michelle were willing to go to in order to help their son. The former roommate, now an adult, described Nick as volatile, entitled, and emotionally unstable even then, someone who could be charming one moment and explosively angry the next. When news broke of Rob and Michelle's deaths, he said he was not shocked. He said he knew exactly who it was, a statement that has since circulated widely, though it remains a personal recollection, not evidence. What makes these accounts unsettling is not just the language used, words like entitled and rage, but how consistently they align with what Nick himself admitted years earlier. In interviews and public statements, Nick spoke openly about his long battle with addiction, saying he entered rehab for the first time as a teenager and returned many times after. He acknowledged relapsing shortly after treatment, drifting into homelessness at times, and struggling to maintain stability even with access to resources most people never have. His life, by his own account, became a cycle of help, relapse, guilt, and anger, directed both inward and outward. Those close to the family said Rob and Michelle never stopped trying. Friends described them as loving, exhausted, and often heartbroken. They reportedly paid for repeated treatment programs, supported Nick financially when he could not support himself, and tried to keep him close even when professionals warned about boundaries. At times, Nick lived with them again. At other times, he disappeared. The effort to save him became a defining feature of their later years, a quiet struggle unfolding behind a public image. Nick's mental health challenges were also significant. Multiple reports confirmed that he had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and had been under a mental health conservatorship in recent years, a legal step typically taken only when someone is considered unable to care for themselves safely. According to reporting, his medication was changed roughly 1 month before his parents' deaths, a detail that has drawn attention from mental health professionals, who caution that medication changes can sometimes destabilize patients if not carefully monitored. Still, experts stress that mental illness alone does not explain violence, and each case must be evaluated individually. The former roommate story includes a detail that has captured public attention, a bizarre argument involving actor John Travolta. According to the account, Nick became enraged during a conversation that others perceived as trivial or joking, reacting with an intensity that felt disproportionate and frightening. Whether the story is remembered exactly as it happened decades later is impossible to verify, but its significance lies in what it suggests: an inability to regulate emotion, a hair-trigger response to perceived slights, and a deep sensitivity to status and respect. Several insiders quoted in media reports echoed similar themes. They described Nick as someone who struggled with identity, particularly under the weight of his family name. Being Rob Reiner's son and Carl Reiner's grandson came with expectations he reportedly felt unable to meet. While his siblings built more stable lives, Nick appeared stuck, resentful, and increasingly angry at what he believed he had been denied, even as his parents continued to help him. Some sources said he felt controlled, others said he felt abandoned. Often, it seemed he felt both at the same time. Rob Reiner himself spoke in past interviews about the agony of parenting a child with severe addiction and mental illness. He admitted to second-guessing decisions, wondering whether love had turned into enablement and whether strictness might have made things worse. He talked about fear of getting a phone call in the middle of the night, fear of losing his child, fear of doing the wrong thing no matter what choice he made. Those words now read with painful irony. When Rob and Michelle were found dead in their Brentwood home, the shock was immediate and widespread. Law enforcement later announced that Nick had been arrested and charged. Authorities have not released all details, and the legal process is ongoing. Nick has not been convicted, and under the law, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. His defense team has indicated that mental health will be a central issue in the case, while prosecutors argue that the evidence supports the charges. What remains undeniable is the devastation. Friends describe Rob and Michelle as deeply devoted to each other and to their children. Tributes from across Hollywood focused not just on Rob's legendary career, but on his warmth, generosity, and belief in family. The idea that their lives ended inside the very home where they tried for years to protect and heal their son has left many struggling to understand how love, privilege, illness, and conflict could collapse into such tragedy. The former roommate's words, harsh, blunt, and emotionally charged, are only one voice in a much larger story. They do not explain everything, and they do not determine guilt, but they contribute to a broader narrative that suggests Nick Reiner's struggles were neither sudden nor hidden. They were long-standing, painful, and known to many who crossed his path. Whether those struggles were mishandled, misunderstood, or simply overwhelming is something the courts and history will have to sort out. In the end, this is not just a story about fame or crime. It is a story about a family that tried to outrun illness with love, money, and hope, and failed. It is about a son who never found peace, parents who never stopped trying, and a tragedy that forces uncomfortable questions about responsibility, mental health, and how society treats those who fall through the cracks, even when surrounded by privilege. And as the legal process continues, it remains a reminder that behind every headline are real people, broken lives, and consequences